Hello?
There we
Hi.
go. Good morning.
Mike's on.
Yeah, we're hot. Here we go. Hope you guys had a great weekend, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes. It was quite relaxing. I did not.
It was quite hot.
It was.
It was.
that.
Good gracious.
That is true.
Larry Sprinkle.
Like I said, my sweat was sweating yesterday.
I know, that was funny.
Why did you do that to us?
Yes.
I guess I love to torture.
I had to cut my earrings short. I couldn't take it. I literally was like, you know what? I'm going to go back home.
Good news about the next 7 days.
Yes, you
What's
have good
coming up
news.
We'll
later?
get to that in just a second.
Where headed our way?
Ooh, maybe for the
Finally.
Panthers game. We'll see. So we've been talking Panthers now that we are 2-2. Yep.
That's right.
Played the Houston Texans yesterday. Love that play. Quarterback Kyle Allen basically dodges J.J. Watt. Big man coming at him fast.
288-pound, 6'5" J.J. Watt compared to 200 pounds Kyle Allen.
I saw J.J. Watt was like beating himself up the rest of that game because that would have been a big stop.
That
for
would have been a big stop.
them.
But it wasn't, and that's okay for us.
I know.
We like it.
Was awesome, and heck of a throw there and completion. Okay, so we asked you guys how many wins you think we're gonna have for this season. We already have 2, obviously. Unfortunately, 2 losses from the beginning of the season, which means we have 12 games left. And the average is 8 wins total.
It
So
went
that means
down
6
one.
more wins. It went down. Yes, it did, Ruby.
I mean, you could still be in the playoffs with that. I mean,
So that would be 8-8.
Yeah, NFC South is not the greatest division this year. I mean,
Falcons.
Atlanta is 0, not 1 win this year. So,
I'm looking this up to
looking
see
good
what the
yesterday.
predictions are
predictions from who?
For the whole season?
from like ESPN or something.
Let me ask, as the person who knows nothing about sports here and admit that, what does it mean, 2 wins now with Kyle Allen, going into this week if they win again with Kyle Allen? Like,
Oh, you're talking about when Cam comes back?
yeah, like, I mean, like,
Well, I think that not a lot of people are hopeful as to when he'll even be back, so I don't think the focus
But
is
the
now
thing
on.
is, Cam Newton is the starting quarterback. He's paid a ton of money, and so when he comes back, he'll be healthy. I mean, he's not going to come back. But I mean, Kyle could end up playing another 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
But when Cam comes back, they're not going to put him in until he's totally healthy. So
Which is good. I mean,
it is,
we need Cam to sit out until he is 100% better.
And don't come back and do like he has been.
Right, because he's been coming back.
Whether his choice or the coach's choice to put
Not
him in.
100%, and then he
I
gets
think
hurt easily.
Like he said, he was hiding the injury.
Yeah.
Don't do that again. Kyle Allen has really proven himself. And the great thing about this guy, when Cam comes back, we will have one of the best
great
backup
backup.
quarterbacks in the
That's
NFL.
so true.
with Kyle
So
Allen.
ready and
We
so prepared.
I mean, DA was good. Derek Anderson was a good backup quarterback, but not a great backup quarterback.
But the problem with that, too, is that Derek Anderson, in all fairness, never really got to play.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
He never got practice because that's when
Yeah.
Cam was.
Yeah. I'm not
Healthy
taking anything
and-
away from
yeah.
Derek Allen. But this guy, though.
I know.
And I like
He's
that he
something
was
else.
Derek Anderson.
Anderson.
Yeah.
Kyle Allen's undrafted, so I mean, he's really just
I thought-
making moves right
So
now.
is Tom Brady.
You know, his first,
Crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
That is crazy, that whole story.
Mm-hmm.
But I did see that Kyle Allen transferred from Texas A&M to Houston, which was so funny because whenever he played against the Cardinals, it was his second start in the NFL or second time playing, I think, in the NFL, and it was back in his hometown of Arizona. And then this time it was his second time for the Panthers, and he was in Houston, which is where he transferred to finish out his college career.
Are we getting any responses from people about?
Well, let me pull it up.
Well, good for him because he's getting awesome experience.
Right?
He's not just
Making a
experience
name for himself.
And he's winning.
But a confidence boost. I mean, there's so much pressure that you're just it's thrown upon you in a situation like this.
Especially being behind Cam
The fact that you can perform in this pressure is fantastic for him.
So
going
many
forward.
do not. So many don't
exactly.
make it that way.
And for Cam, it's good news because it means, man, you can take it easy. Like, don't rush back.
Well, speaking of Cam, Ann said, Cam hiding an injury, what a joke. So he posted this video. We all know that he's got like this vlogger, like team
very
that follows
Hollywood.
him. Yeah, with the outfits to the whole crew. So he posted on his YouTube page this 15-minute from his words, his story, his perspective as to what all went down leading up to him being out indefinitely because of this Lee Frank injury to his foot. And a lot of reaction. Some people are saying it's a little odd to
Do we have
see.
the clip?
Well, it's on YouTube. We have a soundbite from it if you want to go ahead and play it, then we can talk about it.
Everything's looking flat. Where's the energy that you usually play with? And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, well, it's hard for me to have energy when I'm hiding something, and I was hiding the injury.
So he was saying his brother, you know, a lot of people, obviously family members, were reaching out to him in the first 2 games, like, you don't look like yourself. And I guess he hadn't spoken up at that point.
And, you know, a lot of people talking about when he was in the game, why he wasn't given the ball to run it in and why they gave the ball to Christian McCaffrey. And he explains in that YouTube clip that he couldn't push off his foot at all.
He said he couldn't run.
Like he knew he'd have to be explosive and he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I think the interesting thing is him talking about that whole Superman tag. That people have called him Superman. So then he really took that to heart.
Yeah.
And felt like I can't be injured. I'm Superman.
And
You're
the moment
human,
you-
bro. And I think that's great that he said, I realize that I'm human just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it?
So I wonder the reaction to this. Do people find him more appealing now, or are they still? Because there's so many
Because
people who
basically
just
he humbled
don't.
himself. He humbled himself.
Yeah.
in
But
that
we were
interview.
talking earlier during the show in the commercial
The
break.
wine, the
He's like,
cigar.
well, the wine is a cigar starting.
He
off,
could have
and it's
left
like-
that out.
I mean, I have no problem with it, but it just seemed like an odd
Here's
way to
the thing.
start the video.
He's an adult. He can do what he wants, right? I think we have to always be very aware when you're someone like Cam Newton, the optics of something, how something looks.
Yeah.
Yep.
People are going to talk about you no matter what, so you can't live your life so nervous and worrying about, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? But there are certain things that seem pretty obvious.
Yeah.
That you just leave out.
I think one thing that's obvious that Kim is going to do what he's going to do. He's going to dress how he's going to dress.
Yeah.
He's going to move the way he's going to move.
I'm just glad he took the scarf off.
Well, he's
Don't-
got a little
Cam,
something
do
around his
not,
neck.
don't put that scarf back on.
It really bothers you.
I don't know. I think it was DJ
It was so
Moore.
weird. It was so bizarre. It was like you
I've
start
always enjoyed
questioning what was
love
really
the
going on with him. There's been the whole subject about Cam and his diet, vegan
Yeah,
diet.
they had that whole thing
whether
on.
that had an effect on him. And there's a lot of research been done on that. That it can have an effect, especially someone with a power. You have to have a lot of protein
At that level.
Yeah.
At that
Yeah.
level, you're getting hit pretty hard. I've been a vegan, vegetarian almost my entire adult life.
I was going to say that's big coming from you though, because
Yeah.
you live that
Yeah, I
lifestyle,
live a
so
life
you
of-
know.
I wouldn't be playing football for sure, but I mean, you would have to balance those proteins out so well, and to change so drastically. I know he had
Wasn't he a pescatarian at one
pescatarian
point?
for a while, and that's still a lot of protein. So I think there's a lot of question with that. Could that affect you mentally? I think that it certainly can, because that is a drastic change in the reality of your diet, and that can affect you mentally as well. So,
And I wonder,
all that
I think that
contradiction.
is an interesting thing, because I wonder how much protein does he get in a day? And I'm sure he has skilled nutritionists
Sure.
and all these things.
Right.
But animal protein is very different from plant protein.
Totally.
It just is. That's just the bottom line. So
We'll see. I mean, I haven't seen the Panthers themselves speak up if they're behind Cam with this video or all the contents of it. I did see in the beginning he kind of explained that he needed to get comfortable to open up. So maybe that's
I'm sure
why.
they're gonna.
he
I'm sure
needed the
they're gonna
wine
be
or
perfectly
whatever.
okay with it in public, but I'm sure
Yeah,
their PR
maybe
people,
behind.
their PR people and
Yeah.
coaches
we're all
are
probably
like, oh, good.
What's he doing now?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm sure we'll continue to learn more as to how long he'll be recovering and rehabbing and everything. All right, switching gears to a local story that has been on the top of our mind since last night. I think 11:30.
Yeah.
This fire broke out at the Balls Creek campground sites. It's in Catawba County, and I was looking at pictures to what this looked like. So this is where it's at in the map, just northwest of
Not too far
Charlotte.
from Denver, North Carolina. Not too far from
Hickory.
Lake Norman. Yeah. It's a beautiful part of the country. It's historic because it goes back to the 1850s. It was religious. They would call camp meetings, where you take a group, a congregation out into nature itself, and people worship there. They sing there. People actually bought. It's not tents. These are wooden
Yeah.
sheds that they made.
They
Some people
call
say-
them tents, but they don't.
They could call them shacks. Some are very elaborate. Some are very simple, and you can invest as much as $65,000.
But the point being, these are structures that
Yeah.
burn. These
That
aren't
burn down,
these
yeah.
aren't tents.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it this morning, and we had a viewer, Patrick, email in to both of us saying that this is historic and it's so important to the community because it's good old-fashioned Southern revival where families come together,
in August and would have it there.
and it's a tradition, and it's really going to hurt the community.
Saw there's an arbor in the middle where they
Yes,
actually hold the
yes.
services, and then there's square, and hundreds of these campsites or buildings that are around it. I think we have Billie Jean. She was going to join us live for the Facebook Live to give us an update because she's been out there covering this as to how it started and what the very latest is, because this is the first time they're going to see the extent of the damage this morning since it happened around 11:30 last night. So Billie Jean, you're on our Facebook Live show. Thanks for joining us. Do you want to give us a little wrap up as to what you've learned now that it's 7:10 this morning?
Hey guys, so we're still waiting on some new information, but the last update that we got from officials was that more crews were coming in this morning to take a look at the damage. Of course, this happened at 11 o'clock last night, so the sun is just coming up. So that's going to give them better insight as to what they're dealing with. The big question here is, was this arson? Was this fire intentionally set? So right now, that's something that's under investigation. They're not ruling anything out at this point, but as you mentioned, a lot of history at this campsite. It was established back in 1853 and 1990. It became a part of the National Register of Historic Places. And as someone mentioned there in the studio, it's just good old Southern fashion revival, church revival. People dating all the way back to the early 1800s will gather at this campsite for revival. They would meet, and fast forward now to 2019, just this past August, you have people who stayed there for about a week or so for revival. Some people paid thousands of dollars for these tents or wooden structures or cabins, whatever you want to call them, but there are wooden structures. People live in them. They come and they worship, and it's a lot of history. A lot of people that we saw this morning just devastated. They're shocked. A group of people, about 6 or 7 folks, when we were preparing for a live shot at 5, so it was around 4:15, 4:30 or so. They drove here and walked 20 minutes up to the scene, being that the road is blocked, just to take a look. They were in disbelief. They saw it on social media, and they were young folks, I would say in the mid-20s, early 30s, but even they just recalled, stories of this campsite and what it means to this community. There are dozens of homes around this area, so the good news is no injuries to report, which is amazing, being that there are homes so close to where the fire happened. But like I said, a lot of people are just shocked and trying to figure out, is this arson? That's the word on social media right now. That's the question, rather. Was this fire intentionally set? And that's something investigators are trying to figure out as well.
Billie Jean, I'm just curious, because we describe these things as shacks, shed, that sort of thing. I would assume these things would go up like that.
Right.
Tinderbox.
Like a tinderbox with nothing to stop them, like sprinklers or anything like that. So were they able to save some of these?
They said 35 of these structures now.
So as of right now, there are hundreds of tents here on the campsite, and according to the website, at least 35 have been destroyed, or really a lot of damage done to them. So that was the latest as of about 6:30 this morning, so it could possibly be more now that the sun is going up. And yeah, you got to think about being that these are wood structures, just how fast this fire happened. Someone on social media commented that they were passing by the IGA around 9:30 last night, and in the last 10 or so minutes, or excuse me, 11:30 last night, and in the last minute, they saw how quickly those flames just went up. They were standing in their yard about 3 miles or so away, and they could see just the flames just appearing as if it was happening right in front of them. So a really large fire. More than 14 crews had to come out here and respond to this. Even folks from Charlotte, even crews from Charlotte had to drive all the way out here to help put this fire out. So it's really bad. We're about 2 miles away from the scene right now. You can't see anything from where we're standing, unfortunately. We're hoping that officials will open up this road and allow us to go through there shortly so we can get a better look as well. But yeah, very devastating out here this morning. A lot of people shocked about it.
When you look on the website, the ballscreekcampground.org, the photos that they have of the pictures and from all the meetings, and it just looks like picturesque. It looks like a perfect time for a family to go and spend a week there, and it just seems like a lot will be lost because of this. But I know in these kinds of cases they will build these up again,
well,
and it will be.
The big question is, and more than likely, I'm not sure it's a lot of insurance. It'd be tough to get insurance in a structure like that. So that would be the other issue. This is going to be a very expensive rebuild for the people there. Very sad situation.
Well, we'll continue to keep you posted on the very
media,
latest
we're talking
with that. Billie Jean, thanks for joining us for the Facebook Live for just a couple
By the way,
minutes.
quick shout out to the firefighters.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
goodness, come all the way from Charlotte. I'm sure the local firefighters.
And this
there,
heat too.
like, the heat, being that these are sheds and they're going up like that. Kudos to the firefighters.
And then one thing to point out, I noticed that the road was closed there. That campground is on Buffalo Shoals Road, and there was a lot of traffic there. So
Yeah, she was
watching
standing
Facebook
right
Live.
at Bandy's
Yeah.
Crossroads.
Yeah.
This whole area is near Bandy's High School, if you know where
Yeah.
that is. Not too far from Denver, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, really sad, and our thoughts and prayers with everybody, because a lot of people were reaching out this morning with the hashtag WakeUpCLT, and I saw a lot of stories of families that have owned these places since the early or late 1800s, and they go there since it's been established. So we'll keep everybody posted throughout the day. All right, switching gears to a couple other stories that we talked about. One of them, we all have our phones on us. Apparently, there was this study done that said life would possibly be better off without them.
Yeah, 46% of people said, hey, we think we were better off before the smartphones. Which,
In some
Larry,
respects,
were
we
we?
were. No,
Yeah, I mean-
I don't disagree with that. I mean, how many years did we not have cell phones or whatever it means? You know, we got along fine. Back in those days, you had a pay phone. You make a phone call, stop, put a quarter in, but life seems simpler, less complicated. Certainly the issues that we have today, that so many people are so addicted to their phones that their whole life is built around a cell phone.
Yeah.
Communication is so important. You know, one-on-one.
Yep.
And I think in many cases those phones are definitely creating problems among individuals. And you know, there's a lot of things on the internet that you don't want your kids to see.
Right.
And because of those cell phones, they are actually
access.
engaged
The access, yeah.
in that.
And you don't know
Social
it.
media is just
No.
making it worse. You pick up your phone, and some people, and I admit sometimes when I wake up, I go straight to social
Yeah.
media, and you're on there so long. Like, there are times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to limit myself because I can sit there for
And you get
30
lost
minutes
in
and
it,
you
yeah.
during the show, actually, I was texting back and forth, and we were talking about in our household on Sunday nights, we're going to try to do no phone Sunday night.
Good.
Because we're both
Yeah.
just all in our phones. And it's like, it's the end of the
Put it
weekend.
down.
Like, enjoy each other,
Yeah.
enjoy, like, you know, the dog, have a good time, like, get off the phone.
I think too, you know, the frequency of being on the phones. Because think about it. Like, I was trying to think about, now we are so connected. Texting, it's nonstop, right?
Yeah.
I don't think when texting was you were first able to text, people didn't text all day long.
You didn't have unlimited at the time
Because
either, right?
you had to do hit the 777
But I mean,
to get the...
right, but you know what I mean? I feel like it's become so easy to do, and people have become so reliant
Yeah.
on communicating that
would
way, and I
really
don't like it
to know,
anymore.
because I really think that in many situations, these things are taking you away from what you should be doing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Your job, first of all.
Yeah.
How many
And
employers
focus.
are losing?
How much money do they lose, you think?
Losing because someone is just constantly
Yeah.
on their phone and just obsessed with that. So
Crazy.
There you go. Let's think about it.
All right, did you guys know that the Biebers are getting married supposedly today in South
did not know
Carolina?
that.
I thought they were already married.
Okay, so
they were already married,
legally
too.
they're already married, but I guess that they had this wedding in France and now they're having one in the States, and they're in South Carolina, and people are really
Where
upset
in South
because
Carolina?
like right near Hilton Head, just west of Hilton Head, they're staying at
Who is this you're talking about?
Justin Bieber and now
Oh, okay.
Hailey
I think
Bieber.
it's
Okay?
Beavers.
The Biebers.
Bieber.
Well,
okay.
the reason why people are upset is because I guess they rented out the majority of this hotel, but the guests that aren't there for the wedding do not have access to the pool, the spa, none of that, because they bought out the amenities of the hotel.
That sucks.
That's not cool.
Refund me.
Yeah.
If they bought it out, can you refund me?
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Those
clearly y'all don't
Biebers.
need it.
Well, and some people probably spent all this time planning this
Right?
trip. They saved their money for it, and now they can't use it.
know.
That
But I
stinks.
just invite them to the wedding.
Yeah, just
Include them, why not?
I don't think the
Come on.
Biebers would do that.
No, I don't think so.
No, and I guess yesterday was their rehearsal, and then according to E, maybe today will be their wedding. So I
Refund
just
me my
thought,
money.
what? Like, you had no idea. You're at this hotel, and you go down to use the pool, and they're
Yeah.
like, no, sorry, it's not available.
I got some bad news and good news about the weather. The bad news is, by the middle of the week, we're back into record-breaking territory. The good news is, look at Saturday and Sunday, a nice.
Look at that.
Okay, so my question, Larry, do you think it will stay in those temperatures, or is it going to shoot right back up to 90s?
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
I knew
No,
you were going to dodge
for
that.
a while at least. Yeah,
Okay.
we're not going to be back into the mid-90s. Yeah,
Good.
that's good.
All right, we'll get through it together. Bye, guys.